2, 1, plop. Okay, welcome again in Edge Topic Husband and Wife. Of course, with me, Sinta Northcutt, and with my husband beside me. I don't know which one here.
Well, I'm on this side actually, but I'm Alan, right?
Correct. So, well, I really want to talk about something that we're going through right now.
Uh-oh. Do I need to get a lawyer?
Laugh a little, heal a little, too spicy blue TV. Made for you, cry a little, rise a little, new spicy blue TV. Made for you. Hey!
I hope not.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, this problem because the globalization era and distance is no problem anymore, something like that, to have a relationship. So now a lot of people maybe like us still working on long distance marriage. Until this point, what do you think about that long distance marriage?
Well, the struggle with it is, number one, waiting on all the documentation to go through the process. That's number one. What makes it so much worse is the fact that we don't have any timeline, scorekeeper. There's no milestones. We turned this stuff in, 14 months ago? And it's just
Finally, yeah.
there. We have no idea if anybody's looked at it. I mean, and that's kind of the really, really frustrating part. All we can do is go off the historic timeline, which was, what was it before? Somewhere around 14 months in the past
Yeah.
several years. But now with all of the other problems with the government shutdowns and the agencies and the illegal side of immigration come into play.
Oh yeah, I think that's after Trump, right? He
Yeah.
changed everything about the what do you call the uncitizen?
Yeah, the non-citizens, the illegal aliens,
Correct, non-citizen. All right. Yeah.
and I mean, if it wasn't for thing one and thing two, you could just fly to Mexico City and walk across and be here, but, that's not the way to do it. And that's very
Yeah, of
dangerous, I
course.
guess.
Right. We
But,
won't do that. It's not the option anyway. Boom.
and I've never dealt with this process before, and I don't really know anyone who has dealt with this process before. And it just seems to be, I guess, when you're OCD like me and you get a new piece of software or a new website that you're trying to register on, and it's just real clunky and you can't seem to make it do what you want to do, and then at the end you don't get the confirmation email. I mean, that's kind of where we are, but it's our life. It's not some registration form online.
That's correct. There is no time limit. It's just probably minimum this and then maximum this.
But the problem is the time limit is 14 to 18 months for the first step, somewhere below 58 and a half months total. And it's like, that's not really a window. A window would be a couple of months. That's 5 years.
Well, it is what it is. But how about your feeling? I mean, as a husband.
It really does this every day now, because I'll feel good and then I'll remember that, it's been 14 months and we haven't heard anything. And so there's the emotional roller coaster of the process. But then, for instance, you had an issue with thing two, and you were at the kind of the end of your rope anyway. And so it just stacked, one thing on another thing on another thing. And I guess if I were there, I could either help or make it worse, depending on
The
how late
situation.
depending on how late I got involved. I mean, typically if I get involved early, we can be on the same page. And if I wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and then I get involved, in your mind, you're 80% to the solution, and I may want to change directions. And that's a problem. But we're apart. So, and it's hard to judge that off a video call. You know, I mean, I hear thing two crying in the background and your face is red. And I don't know if, you know, did you just scold her and you finally won the argument, or is, you know, she over there bleeding because you smacked her with a baseball bat or something? You know, yeah, I don't know.
But that's also the problem is the time difference. So
Oh yeah.
about the communication and everything, when you sleep, I'm awake. When I wake, you sleep. It's just challenging.
Well,
It's really
and typically we talk twice a day minimum. So it's going to be
correct.
not at the same time, but I'll talk to you in my morning and I'll talk to you in my evening. But it's interesting because in my morning, when I haven't had anything going on, you're trying to get everybody ready for bed and kind of shut the operation down. And then, you know, in your morning, when I'm calming down
Right.
and I'm relaxed and I'm almost ready to go to bed, uh-oh, now you've got to get everybody up and ready for school. And, you know, so it's just,
And
it
my
has,
Walmart coming.
oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
I ready to cook and everything. Right.
and then when you have time, when you have the time to talk, I'm at work or I'm asleep.
All right. Yeah.
And so,
It's
yeah, that
hard.
gives challenges. But I think based on my personality, I think what one of the strongest challenges is when I'm dealing with a two-dimensional video of, you know, you, there's so much of the picture that I don't grasp. I mean, I can see the expression on your face. I can see if you're, you know, red and out of breath because you're mad at something, or I can see if you're sad. But I mean, I don't get the whole picture. You know, I don't see it, you know, you can't smell a picture. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but you know, when you walk into a room, let me give you a perfect example. Well, the
Okay.
first
I'm
time
listening.
when you came to the US, I was working in Mississippi.
Correct.
I go to work, I come home, I'm at a hotel. I go up the elevator. The door of the
Oh,
elevator opens. I smell smoke. I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I wonder what she's done. But right or wrong, that was part of the, you know, that was whole part of the environment that you could notice. You know, you use your senses to get it. And that's kind of what I mean. You know, you can't smell a painting. So you don't really understand what the author was.
but between you and me, I probably cannot bring this in this podcast, but I will anyway. We have some connection that really weird. I can smell you when you in the toilet.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's what we
It's true. It's true.
every family.
Anytime, 24 hours a day, it doesn't matter. If I go into the smallest room, my phone rings. And it's not usually somebody wanting to talk to me about my extended car warranty.
Well, people probably don't know and don't believe that, but that's
And they
true.
probably shouldn't know.
Well, that's probably the sense, you know. We have like the sixth sense. That's what we have, the sixth.
Is it sense or sense? Yeah, same thing.
Well, that kind of the fun part, maybe that if we can see that as a fun, even
I
though
think
still, yeah.
I think probably if I was going to draw everything out on a whiteboard and circle what I thought the extremely bad part of not being together, you know, after we get past the obvious, it's going to be the little things, you know, like when you're washing dishes and I walk through the kitchen and I slap you on the butt. I mean, that's the things we don't have when we're apart. Or,
Right.
um, you know, your trick of moving my shoes. And then when I go to get my shoes, they're somewhere else, or one of them is somewhere else, you know. So it's the,
That's correct. And
and that's
nobody fix my decks.
your what?
My decks, my table. Everything on my table, the makeup. Nobody
Oh
help.
gosh. Yeah. I don't really fix
Nobody,
that. I try to
nobody
organize it
help
so
me
I,
to charge my juice bag.
yeah, and nobody keeps up with your keys.
Nobody clean my ring.
I think that's the thing because everybody thinks, our friends who know what's going on, they try to empathize with us on the process. And, the ones who are married or paired up and they're like, "Oh, it must be hard not to be able to wake up with each other, eat dinner together, or do this and that." You know what? Those are actually big things.
Oh,
But, it's like I don't open the door for you when you get in the car. I mean, you're capable of unloading the groceries, but I'm not there to do it. And
right,
I think
right.
it's the biggest thing that you miss because it's been, wow, how many years, 3 years since we've been married?
Mhm.
It's not the everybody knows the big things matter and everybody expects that to be a problem, even us, but it's the little things.
Um, yeah, as a daily, maybe if we are together, is mean nothing. But right now, because we miles thousand away,
And
so
and
yeah,
thing 1 and thing 2, they can't use us against one another. And, that's part of life. "Oh,
right.
well, mama said," "No, mama didn't say that. I'm not an idiot. I know mama didn't say that." But in thing two's mind, she can convince me that you did. And then that's something that we can work through, and then you and I are gonna laugh and joke about it because, we get it. But,
Yes,
we don't
you're
get
right.
to have those situations right now.
Yeah, we don't have that situation right now. So the situation that we have is just sad when you back to US and we separated again after we met for 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Months at a time. Well, and I think part of the problem is you and I both have lives. You travel around with your events, I have a job, and when we're together, all of that kinda goes on the back burner and everything focuses around thing 1 and thing 2 and then you and me. And so, not only are we together most of the time, but then when apart, we're apart with responsibilities outside this union, I guess. And I mean, that makes it different as well.
That's correct. One of thing maybe that also difficult when I try to what you call what you call when I try to introduce you to my big family. I told you that the big family that you never met with them yet.
Right, and that's
But
like 10% of my hometown.
well, kinda because in Lebaran, like uh, Christmas in Christian, like
Uh-huh,
we will together in the big house that probably about 150 people
mhm.
together, and kids we play games, we play we also what do you call share the little money for the kids so the kids will be happy.
Right,
And
right,
of
right.
course every year uh we hey what's new, the news in the family, the big family, something
Yeah,
like that.
but
But
you do the
yeah,
news in the family, but you go through the generations because this past year you
that's
had
correct.
was it what, 6 generations you had there?
That's yeah. Sixth
I mean,
generation right now, so
yeah,
sixth generation, yeah. So of course there's a big family, and one of the family finally asked me, it's like, "Hi, is the time?" And I said, like, "Well, it's not because I don't want to bring my husband here, it's just the time is not right yet, you know the Lebanon in here is just not your holiday time, it's just not right for
right,
you to get out from the what you call off day, take a off day or something, so it is what
right,
it is."
right.
But that's probably the things that you know, how what the family thinks. We need to sacrifice. Is that the word?
Yeah,
Sacrifice
sacrifice,
that
yeah.
stuff. So yeah.
So the problem here is if you go to these family gatherings and you're all depressed because I'm not with you, they're gonna think, "Oh my gosh, she hates her husband. She's always sad now."
Well, again, they won't think that way because they see my strength. You see?
Yeah, you have a stripe. Yeah, you have a stripe. Yeah.
Oh my god. So, do you regret something about this situation, this relationship?
I really don't. I mean, we almost did something a little bit different,
Mhm.
because I looked into the teaching job and coming
Yeah,
over
the job
there,
in
and then
Indonesia, right?
I had a major dynamic change in my family, as my kids got older, they
Okay.
want more time, and then they're having kids now, so, uh and, my mother's not 35 years old anymore, so there are things that she needs that I couldn't do if I were in Indonesia.
Okay.
So, I mean, everything kinda happens for a reason, it's just we don't necessarily know what that reason is. Um, Me coming to Indonesia 3 years ago and staying there, would that have been a better, uh, situation? It would have been probably better and more relationship strengthening for you and me, but what happens to the rest of the family, because, if I'm over there and I'm getting paid over there, I'm not flying back twice a year, back and forth. So, I don't guess I sit and contemplate whether had we gone down the other path, would we be better off right now? Because I just don't think it was as good of an option as what we're doing.
Right now. Okay. For me, well, it's not regret, but maybe if I know that kind of stuff will happen, I probably more prepare about, the mentality, no, the mentality is like after married, I really want to be, of course, to be stay with my husband. That's my expectation is there. Like, okay, yeah, I'm married, and then I want to be with my husband. I have someone beside me, and well, I don't have it yet right now because everything's still in the process. So again, if I know that gonna happen, I will like prepare myself for that.
Well, I
Because
don't think there's any way I could have prepared myself for this. I had there was no concept of what this was gonna be like for me. There was no
so we just
concept of
adapt finally, right?
yeah, I think that's right. I think, we've had to adapt and, yeah, there's no way I could have imagined, that this would have taken as long as it's taking and what we would go through in the process.
Be patient, baby. Be patient.
If I had patience, they would call me doctor.
I know. Well, I'm your patient then.
You are more
Cool.
patient than I am, but
Oh my God. Remember everything ever but mean?
you negate everything you said up to the point of saying "but," right? That would be like saying, "Oh, baby, we have the perfect life, everything's great, I can't imagine it being any better, but"
But
whatever,
well, see? So everything good is not good anymore. So we come to the almost end of the podcast. Of course, there's some listener who, people who has the same situation. Do you have any advice or tips or trick maybe
Yeah,
for
or
our
if you
listener?
don't quite understand what we're going through, or if you are considering that you're about to go through it, hey, drop something in the comments. Let's talk about that. Well, I mean, because if we were 25 years old, this would not be working.
Right.
It just would not work.
It's just too hard to deal with.
Right. Right.
But right. I mean, right now we more mature maybe and well, it is what it is. Everything we follow the step already and just what do you call cross the finger.
Yeah. Yeah. We followed the rules. Now we're crossing the fingers and hoping. So, yeah.
So I mean I need Harold to pray for us, I think.
Well, I can tell you one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
If, if people who we knew, if
Okay.
their desire to have you here would make it happen, you would already be here. I mean, I
If
you know,
if if like probably government need, hi, I need some paper or signs, the signature to make me come to US. I think we already have the some signature.
yeah, we would. We would.
Well, it is what it is. Be patient. We're gonna be together.
That's right. Call me doctor. Because I have to have a lot of patience.
Yes, dear.
Does that make me a doctor without borders?
Okay. See you again in the next episode. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but
I can guarantee you this. You're going to laugh about something.
after this I'm gonna cry. Okay, bye.